Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are diving right into my 53-man roster prediction for these Baltimore Ravens, starting with quarterback. Up first, we have QB1, Lamar Jackson. I'm so proud to say that. And behind him at QB2, we have Josh Johnson, despite his up and down game 1 versus game 2 performance, he's making the roster at QB number 2. Also at QB3, we have Emory Jones. I'm taking Emory Jones over Devin Leary. Although Devin Leary is a draft pick and Emory Jones was an undrafted rookie, I still think Emory Jones' performance has been much better than that of Devin Leary. And so for that reason, I'm giving the slight advantage to Emory Jones. Up next, offensive line. At left tackle, we have Ronnie Stanley. At left guard, Andrew Voorhees. At center, Tyler Linderbaum. I don't think those three are questionable. But here's where I do have a question mark. I think we might keep Nick Samick at backup for center just because we drafted him. However, here is the caveat. Over the course of the first 2 preseason games, we've seen Ben Cleveland plugged in at center, and he's done a pretty good job. So do we keep Nick Samick knowing that if we need a backup center, we have Ben Cleveland? I don't know the plan there. So question mark next to Nick Samick as backup center. We might keep him, we might not. And now moving over to the right side, we have at right guard, Daniel Falele. That's a little tough to say because I really thought it was going to be Ben Cleveland, but it just seems by all accounts that the Baltimore Ravens are going to rely on Daniel Falele at right guard. We'll see how that works out. Next to him at right tackle, we have Roger Rosengarten, our rookie, who has been very impressive, makes mistakes. That's okay because we expect that during the preseason, and because he's a rookie, we have to give him some grace. But overall, I do think he's been very good for us so far, a good pickup. The next ones I have here, Josh Jones, because he just seems to be that swing plug and play player that has played all positions on the offensive line except for center. I think the Ravens are going to keep him around. I don't see him getting cut just because we don't have a whole lot of reliable depth in our offensive line. So for that reason, I think he's staying. We also have the same thing in Pat McCary. Pat McCary's been around for a while. The Ravens believe in him. So I think we're going to keep both of those as swing or backup if needed. Next up, running backs. Here we have our number 1, Derrick Henry. So glad he's with us this season. Can't wait to see it. Him paired up with Lamar Jackson is going to be such an awesome sight. Behind Derrick Henry, we have Justice Hill. I think we are keeping Owen Wright. He edged out Rasheen Ali. The best ability is availability, and Owen Wright has been available, and not only that, he's looking really good. And I do think I did add Pat Ricard here just because he is a fullback. The Ravens like him. He's not going anywhere. We're going to keep Pat Ricard. Up next, wide receivers. Zay Flowers is going to be our wide receiver number 1 going into his second year. I fully expect him to have a breakout monster season for us this upcoming year. Hopefully the maturity level is there, whereas those mistakes, those costly penalties, the fumbles, I'm hoping that he got all of that out of his system last year, and we're going to see a much improved Zay Flowers. He was already very good on the field in terms of his production. It was just a few minor things that I think he needs to clean up, and hopefully he has, and we will see something even more electrifying this year from him. Wide receiver number 2, we have Rashad Bateman. Next to him, we have Nelson Aguilar. Behind Nelson, I think Tylan Wallace has made quite the name for himself. I know that the Ravens really like him on special teams, but I'm thinking Tylan Wallace actually makes the team and he'll be used as a wide receiver. Anthony Miller, I put him on the list because I think he made some really good plays, and we need that veteran presence this year. Now, this one can be a little tricky. It can either be Dayton Wade or Tez Walker. Tez Walker hasn't shown up in this preseason. Dayton Wade has. But the expectation for drafting Tez was that he was going to be that big body wide receiver who can go up and make those contested catches. That would be the missing piece for this offense and helping Lamar Jackson. Do we have that in Tez Walker? We really don't know. We haven't seen much of him. So that question remains to be seen. And so for this position battle, I can see it going either way. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Do you think it'll be Wade, or do you think it will be Walker who makes the 53-man roster? Up next, tight ends. Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, Charlie Kolar. I don't think that there's any dispute here. Those three absolutely making the 53-man roster. So the only question I have, not who's going to make the roster for tight ends, but how is Todd Monken going to utilize multiple tight ends on the field at the same time? That concludes all of the members of the offense. Now let's move over to the defensive side of the ball. Starting with the D-line, we have Justin Madubuike. We just paid him all that money this offseason, so I really expect Justin to continue to build upon the excellent season that he had last year. Broderick Washington, Michael Pierce at nose tackle. Backing him up, we have Deidrin Sanat. We also have Travis Jones and Brent Urban. Those are the members of the defensive line that I think are going to make the roster. Linebackers. I don't think this is going to vary much from what the Ravens actually do here at linebacker, but for the ones who are making the roster, Roquan Smith, we have Chris Board, Trenton Simpson, Malik Harrison, Kyle Van Noy, Tavius Robinson, my guy, Odafe Owe, and a now healthy David Ojabo. It was really good to see David Ojabo out there on the field against the Falcons last weekend. He looked sharp. He looked crisp. He looked healthy. He looked aggressive. He's very athletic. All the things, right, that we look for in a linebacker, an edge rusher to get after the quarterback. He looks like he's ready and he looks like he can do it. Here's to hoping that he can stay healthy all season. Next up, we have the cornerbacks. Cornerbacks, we have Marlon Humphrey, Brandon Stevens, Nate Wiggins, Jalen Armour-Davis. Yes, I do think Jalen Armour-Davis has put on such a show this offseason, especially in games 1 and 2 of the preseason, that he has carved out a name for himself. I don't think he's going to get cut. I think Jalen Armour-Davis is healthy. He and Pepe Williams, too. I think both of them are going to make the roster. And last, TJ Tampa. This one, I think there is some room to discuss if 1 or 2 of these players that I named may or may not make it. Put them on practice squad, hope and cross your fingers and pray that they don't get snagged by another team. They clear waivers, not sure. But these are the cornerbacks that I'm taking to make the 53-man roster. Next up, safeties. Kyle Hamilton is making that 53-man roster. Of course he is. Next to him, we have Eddie Jackson. There's also Marcus Williams and Ardarius Washington. We just have so much depth at secondary that there could be a change of cornerbacks. Maybe there's one that I included that might not make it, or vice versa, one that I did not include who might make it. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you think, who's making it in terms of our secondary. Last, but certainly not least, special teams. No question here that the GOAT, Justin Tucker, is making the 53-man roster. And we have Jordan Stout, our punter. He's going to make the roster. And Nick Moore, our long snapper. Well, that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Those are the players that I think are going to make the 53-man roster, with the exception of a few who I think are on the bubble and have a really good chance of making the roster. Those would be Sanusi Kane, Daryl Worley, and Russell Gage. Leave me a comment down below and let me know if there's someone on your list that I did not include who you think might be on the bubble, but really might have a shot at making the roster this year. That is all for today. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please give me a great big thumbs up down below. And if you're new, welcome, subscribe to the channel, and join the family. I will see you back very soon, in fact, tomorrow, where I'm joined by 2 special guests from the Green Bay Packers to help me preview Saturday's matchup. I look forward to seeing you then. Until next time, you take care and stay safe. And always remember, go Ravens. God bless.